We're bringing a little joy. It's culture joy right now. So if you want something more about, give me a call, 90.5 FM. Who's calling in?
Hi, it's Kiwana Rock. How are you?
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have the one and only Miss China Wood here. She is live. Live here in the session today on the phone. We're talking about some great issues. She's calling in to give her 2 cents about this situation going on with the politics going on today here with the candidate Pat Quinn, who's the current governor and also runner. I want your opinion about this. You know, right now Corey Brooks is a black minister on the south side of Chicago, and at this present time, his church has gotten broken into because he is endorsing runner for governor of the state of Illinois. And it seems like a lot of black ministers on the west side and the south side of Chicago are jumping on the bandwagon of endorsing him. I want your thoughts about that. Do you feel that politics should have some play in black churches?
Well, at this point in time, I feel like it has to be in the churches. The churches have to be involved. I don't necessarily agree with it, but unfortunately the things that are going on in our communities are highly affected through politicians as well as the church, and I feel if we can work together in some sort of way to come up with some good conclusions as to how to deal with some of these problems, then I think it's a good thing. The bad part about this is, before, back in the day, politics and religion were never to mix. In fact, I think it's somewhere in our Constitution or something like that, where that's not even supposed to be in order, but they may need to change some of those things because what's taking place in our communities, as I said, we're highly affected by politicians and community leaders, which are supposed to be our pastors. So unfortunately, if we do not address the issue, it's definitely there. And just like anything dealing with politics, it's always going to be one-sided or the other. There's never going to be everyone fully for this side.
Well, let me ask you this question. Do you feel it's right that all the black ministers are jumping on Ronner's side? This man does not even employ African Americans in his business, and basically, even health care, he has laid off African American nurses that worked in his facilities. What's your thought about that? Do you still feel that it's okay to go here and vote for a man and have this man coming into your churches and talking about politics and what he's going to do? And
No, now that's what my argument. My argument comes in with politicians nowadays, as you can see with all these ad campaigns that they have going on. Everybody's backlashing, everybody's beating up dirt. So the problem that I do have with runners is, like you said, it's obviously been found out that he does not employ any African Americans. He laid off millions of people. Some of the things that he has in mind for like minimum wage and things like that, I don't necessarily agree with. I had a hard time understanding how any pastor, looks especially, could side with him particularly. And I would love to remember why they decided not to go to Queen, even though I know Queen doesn't have such a great clean slate either. But he is a little more supportive of our people. Not to mention, we have our president who's actually riding with him. So it kind of, to me, it gives us a good forecast on what's to come. For the future election for the president of the United